From the beaches to the high banks, an American tradition.
High-performance stock cars that will know speeds of 140 miles an hour.
The great American race.
He's going to win it spinning.
Heartbreak.
Here comes Pearson. Pearson is going to try to make it across the finish line.
Joy.
This is the Daytona 500, isn't it? You bet. Don't tell me it isn't.
20 years of frustration.
Ultimate achievement.
This is the greatest time I've ever had in Victory Lane right here.
Here they come. Checkered flag. Perfect.
For race fans, it's the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup Finals, all rolled into one.
It is the most revered place in NASCAR and the most cherished race in NASCAR.
More than 30,000 horsepower about to be unleashed in the Great American Race, the Daytona 500.
Today, a sellout crowd of more than 140,000 fans has jammed the legendary Daytona International Speedway.
43 of America's best drivers have waited all winter to drop the green flag on the Great American Race.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Trouble. Back straight away.
There's trouble in turn one. Everybody's scattering, trying to get by. One car up the banking.
Side by side, a lot of excitement, a lot of drafting, a lot of hustling.
They're 4 wide.
Everything that's new about our sport is brought to the maximum potential at this race, and I think it's probably the biggest spectacle that we go to.
The energy and electricity in the crowd is unbelievable.
To be here on such an occasion and to be part of this event today is just a thrill for me.
With all the presidents that's ever been in the United States, this is the first one that's ever showed up at a racetrack.
President of the United States, George W. Bush.
Is this place cool or what?
This is so sick!
It's just hard to match the energy of the Daytona 500.
It's pretty amazing. Something about cars and gasoline just feels like America.
You can win this race. This is the race to win.
This is what you work your whole life to get to, is Daytona.
Did that rookie win?
Yes, sir. Am I dreaming right now?
The most prestigious, important racetrack or race that there is on the circuit just keeps getting bigger.
evening, folks, and welcome to the IWM broadcast of the National Sim Racing League's Grand National Series here at Daytona. I'm Rick Souza, and I'm joined here in the booth by my co-hosts, John DeRidris and Elliot Swope.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one tonight, guys. This is the first race of the season opening at Daytona. It's always a fun race here at Daytona with these Xfinity cars, Grand National cars, of course. And you're now looking at the screen as some of the cars are making their way onto the track, or now, I guess, off of the track, because they have one lap of qualifying. So Rick, we got some guys that are very close in times. You have Ashton Crowder that just put up a 49.5. But you know what? I think it's going to be a fantastic race tonight. Absolutely.
So we're here to, this is the Alice Bike 275 here at Daytona. That's dedicated to the late aunt of one of our competitors tonight. That is Brandon Barrier, and our condolences to his family. And we're here to celebrate this and the fellowship of celebrating her life with this race. And so we appreciate you folks joining us tonight, and we'll hope to have a great show with these competitors.
Looks right now that Brandon is third on the board in that number 58 machine, so hopefully he can get it done for his late aunt. That would be a very special win for him, and also a very big win. It's always important to win early. It's in a season. It can gain momentum for the rest of the year. He's shown very strong speeds and also race results in the recruitment races, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he progresses through the season, and maybe he can grab his first win tonight.
Well, and as you noted, this is their first race of the season, and we're opening up here, like traditionally NASCAR does, here at one of the fastest and wildest high bank tracks here at Daytona.
Yeah, Elliot, I remember you were mentioning something about, you hope that it's a big one, but it is Daytona. It is a super speedway. So, Elliot, do you think there will be a big one now looking at the track stats?
John, there's almost always a big one. Daytona is kind of like a family reunion. Everybody always shows up excited, and by the time they leave, they're pissed off at somebody.
Yeah, it's very true. As you have 110 laps for a big one to potentially happen. So you have a lot of time to space out, but also a lot of great racing happening within these 110 laps. They have 7 sets of tires tonight at 100% fuel, and we would like to mention 0 fast repairs. So hopefully that may provide a little bit more of a safety blanket over the field to potentially say, hey guys, we're not going to give you all fast repairs, which would then obviously reset the cars back to full health, essentially. Hopefully gives them a little bit more of an awareness to keep it clean and keep it green for the entire race.
Yeah, tires aren't going to be an issue, and with 0 fast repairs, hopefully everybody's minding their P's and Q's, and we don't have that big one.
Well, qualifying, I think, is winding down. We're beginning to see the end of the qualifying time is getting put up on the board.
Now, they've got this set up for an extended qualifying period. We've got a couple more minutes. Maybe go over the track facts and the weather and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. So here at Daytona right now, it's a relatively cool day. It's showing that the ambient temperature is 65 degrees, partly cloudy, and 43% humidity. On the track, 83 degrees, which is typically a little chilly here for Daytona.
It definitely is, and that's going to play a factor in how these cars handle. It's not so much of a handling track like we go to maybe some other mile and a half, things of that nature. But the difference in track temperature will play a little bit of a factor late in the race when people are making moves, especially in the corners. It'll definitely play a major role in how the car handles theirs. We're having some partly cloudy skies, a 3-mile-per-hour wind, so really no tailwinds going down any of the straightaways here. So I think it's going to be a pretty clean and green race. And is this race going to go into the night, do you think?
Well, it showed a time start around 5 o'clock. I would hope not, but we'll see. We got lights, so.
We do, which is a great thing. And night racing at Daytona is pretty fun, gotta say.
Yeah, you know, I said the tires weren't going to be an issue, and they really aren't going to be either way. But these guys are running open setups, so maybe look for some loose race cars and some pushing race cars because they're all going to be running different setups.
It looks like we have about 2 minutes and 15 seconds left in qualifying. We have 9 qualifiers on the board, with Crowder leading with that 49.5, which is over a tenth faster than Kyle Milliken in that number 10 machine. And then everybody else is pretty much separated by 0.2 of a second from third on to ninth, which is very close times. One little bobble in the corner will cost you a couple tenths this lap. So obviously Crowder doing a great job there. He was one of the fastest cars in practice as well. So I expect him to have a solid race up there. And it's always important to stay out front. I'm in the mindset of stay out front, avoid all the wrecks, so you don't have to worry about what's going on, don't have to worry about it wrecking anybody or anybody wrecking you, because the big one can always happen.
Well, I think there's also a number of competitors here that chose not to qualify. We've got the 5 car of Carpenter, the 19 of Diltz, 70 of Robley, 74 of Bradstock, 78 of Thompson, and the 77 of Withers chose to decide to be at the back of the field. So that's probably a little bit of gamesmanship and teamwork happening. And you know what? This is a kind of track with these cars that you can ride around in the back and take a different approach and still be there at the end, which is the bottom line here. You've got to be there at the end.
Yeah, it's always the case at Daytona, and you know, going into that aspect of this, that's one of my keys to the race. So being there at the end, and with the field size that we have, I believe green flag stops will play a factor into where you finish this race. So making sure you're round at the end. That's key number 1. Number 2, make sure you pit with somebody, because if you don't pit with anybody, you're going to be all alone until somebody or a pack comes up behind you and picks you up. And number 3, always just keep your nose clean. Make sure you're making smart moves so you can position yourself towards the end of that race. So with the smaller field size that we have tonight of about 15, it may very well play a factor of who can be the best on pit road and who can stay linked up. So we may see some teammates hooking up tonight and going into the pits together, and also them lining up to potentially secure themselves a nice solid finish. As we see, the field is now lining up on pit road. So Rick, Elliott, take it away with our starting lineup for the Alice Mike 275.
Well, right now what we've got is Ashton Crowder on the pole with the number 42 car, and Kyle Milliken in the 10 in second. He'll be on the outside. Mark Sarkochi in the 2 on the inside behind our pole sitter. On the outside of him, Brandon Berrier in the 4. In the 5th position, that's Ryan Chapman in the 7. 6th is Don DeGroot in the 61. 7th is Alan Crowell in the 9. 8th is Josh Aaron in the 00. 9 is Ty Bostic in the 22. And 10 is Justin Diltz in the 19. Elliott?
11th is Michael Carpenter in the 5 car, and 12th is Kenneth Bradstock in the 74. But going on down the list, Thomas Thompson in 13th in the 78. Dan Withers starting 14th in the 77. And starting shotgun, or whatever that is, Chris Robley, number 70 in 15th.
All right, so as soon as that pace car and everybody lines up, we'll join the field in their pace lap and then get this race underway in the Alice Mike 275.
And like John said, there's 2 trains of theories, 2 trains of thought here. You can try to stay up front, or you can sit in the back. Usually in the middle is kind of the place you don't want to be, but that's where most of the cars are. So I've always been a guy that kind of stayed in the back, and but I always found a lot of the wrecks doing it that way. So maybe John's theory is the best way on that.
Maybe it is, but it also depends on the field size. So it's with a smaller field like this, there's going to be not as many cars in a normal pack. Obviously, a normal field is anywhere between, in a normal NASCAR field, 35 to cars. And with only 15 cars on the track, you may have a lot of good, close racing that isn't as hectic as a 20, 25, 30 car field, which is always a mess. You can't go anywhere on iRacing at a super speedway and find yourself comfortable going 2-3 wide, 5-10 rows deep at Talladega or Daytona. There's no comfortable spot. So you never know. The small field may play advantage to all these drivers.
Well, we're on the back stretch, and the lights are off on our pace car. Like the 77's against the wall. Something's going on.
Oh, yeah. Something happened there with the 77 machine of Dan Withers. I definitely looks like he has damage already. Not sure what happened.
He definitely has a steering issue or something there. He hit the outside wall a couple times.